Do Chelsea know how to spend? Because 130 million to end up with Gittens, Pedro and Delap does not scare me. Also, Robbie, imagine we spent 200 million on our front line. Arsenal fan, obviously. Yeah, they don't do that, but they'll spend it on defenders.
I'm a bit surprised on the Joao Pedro one for Chelsea. I don't know what you think. He's a good player. I don't know. I just thought Chelsea would.
I hear you.
I'm just a bit surprised.
I'm like, all of our signings have kind of like had me just not like excited, but I'm just like observing. I'm just keeping an eye on it. Like, it's one of those ones where when we was initially linked, I was like, what are we doing? Because we don't play with a second striker. We just play with Palmer in the 10, two wide wingers in the touchline, and then the striker. So where's he going to play? Surely we're not spending 60 million on a backup 10. But in the last couple of games in the Club World Cup, we've actually been experimenting with the formation. We played a 3-4-3, played a 4-2-2-2, and then when you look at where Joao Pedro plays best, he could actually play in both those systems, just off the striker or in a front two. So if that's what they're planning on doing, and they're changing the way they've played to what we saw last season, then you can see a space for him in the team. But I agree with you. Like, I think he's a good player, but he's not like prolific. He doesn't guarantee you like 15 goals. He's never done it in this league. He doesn't, for me, strike me as someone that's airily like on it, like awesome and like guaranteed goals in the air. But he's like a link man. So he's basically, Nkunku walked so Joao Pedro could run. That's basically what this is. And we just have to hope that he actually like impacts the team, contributes 10 goals, maybe 10 assists, something like that, and it works, because he's a good player. But what I don't want him to do is become like irrelevant, or he's a bench player, lose his confidence. Because we all speak about what someone looks like when they're at their best. But what about when they're at their worst? What about when they have no confidence because they didn't really get the game time?
So at your club, it's a lot more likely that you don't get the minutes that you anticipated, so it affects you in a whole different way. But just the signing and the player, I've always been a big fan of Joao Pedro. I think he's a really good player, and I think what he does give you lot is something that you don't have, like in terms of like you look at the nines that you do have, like you say, they're very much, they can run in behind, stretch teams. Joao Pedro's best assets, I know he's a 9, but it's not scoring. It's providing. It's linking midfield to attack. And if you look at some of his metrics, like him dropping into the pockets is where he thrives most. And he can take some of that creative burden off of Cole Palmer. Like sometimes, you saw when Cole Palmer had that blip in the season, everything just has to go through him. I think he can help with that. But it's just, it's a step up now. And there's a lot of competition at your club, and you're in the Champions League, so 50 odd games. He'll get games, but like you said, what does it look like? But him, and actually 50 minutes. Honestly, I think that's about right.
I think it's like some people say it's 50, and then say 55. I don't know, but the physical. I think it could be. I like the physical side of this. Like, I felt like we were a bit weak when we came into the season with like.
They done quite well.
We had like Felix coming in last summer.
Never been prolific. Yeah,
kept out of the team by Danny Welbeck.
Yeah, listen, Danny Welbeck was brilliant, but he still played a lot of games. He still played a lot of games and had been.
But he didn't score a lot of goals. I'm surprised.
He's never scored a lot of goals.
No. And there's a lot of penalties in there which he's not going to get because Palmer's going to take them.
Goals.
He's going to have to up his goal tally in open play 100%. But at least the one thing I will say is that the team is more physical. Like, he has got a little bit of a nasty streak in him.
Yeah,
Delap was like the most yellow carded player last season. Yeah. He loves a barge. Jackson's headbutting man next week. I don't know. So like
do you think one of them can go? Well, not one of them, Jackson.
Jackson
I'm still not really sure if Jackson's going to go because Ekitike's price is like stupid. It's like 100 million euros. But that's who I would want to replace Jackson personally. I would like him to come in.
So Delap and Pedro combined isn't enough of a replacement for Jackson. You'd still want another striker.
Well, if you're going to, it depends if you're playing the front two. If you're playing the front two, you need 3 strikers minimum.
So that's a legit thing that could happen. You just have to.
He's tried it, and it's nice to see because I don't want us to be rigid. I don't want us to be predictable. We need to be able to do different things. So,
but on Chelsea as well, Jamie Gittens comes in for 55, Pedro for around about 50. Chelsea now spent £263 million at Brighton in the last 3 years on 4 players: Cucurella, Sanchez, Pedro, Caicedo. And that doesn't include the millions they spent to get Potter and his backroom staff there as well. In terms of the spending, you mentioned if you play with a 2 up front, you'd like another one. But how far are you away now from going? Because you've still got players to leave. In that graphic we just had up there, you've got 8 attackers. I think that's excluding Sterling as well.
I mean, yeah.
So,
the
what more do you need to do?
Sterling's leaving, Felix is leaving, and Nkunku will now leave after this Joao Pedro signing. Guy will go out on loan probably. Piers will be out on loan. You know, so Madueke might even be sold. He's been linked with clubs.
Yeah,
he's got to go. So there's gonna be a lot. There needs to be a lot of sales.
You missed so many names on that.
Yeah, but if
graphic
I'm
there.
not gonna. Who else is there? Washington. Who else is there?
Esteval, Madueke,
Esteval will
Palmer,
stay, Madueke
Delap,
could
Jackson,
go,
Gittens, Neto.
Neto will stay. So it should be a normal number. But remember, we're playing Champions League.
Man.
Playing Champions League, playing Carabao Cup, and what did we just speak about 5 minutes ago? Loads of games.
Yeah.
Loads of games. Nations League we just had. Euros last summer. Club World Cup now. Man City are talking about being burnt out. Look how many options they got. Oscar Bob, Cherky, Mamouche, Haaland, Foden, Doku, Savinho. So listen, you got to have options, because if you're going to go all the way in these competitions, you need options.
I learnt my lesson.
You just need quality options. That's what you need.
You see, because this time last year, we was laughing at Chelsea, saying, look at all these millions of players you got. They're porter cabins, they can't even fit in the changing room and that. And I always remember that time when Maresca said, listen, you can do all your laughing, writing this, that and the third. My squad of 24 or 22, whatever the number was, is here.
Yeah.
Like, really? That's their structure of like, don't worry about them extra bodies. Your hierarchy will sort them out.
Yeah.
Loans, wicked sales. And really, even Chelsea's thing, I know we keep saying, how are they doing this, man? I'm going to sell the hotel and...
Yeah, but that's the only reason they've been able to do it.
But what I'm saying, what I've learned is, though, it is the only reason they've been able to do it. But really, what they've done is exploit a loophole or be smart enough to work a way round.
They have.
That actually, no one else is trying to do this model. What Chelsea's thing
Villa
is...
are selling the women's team now.
There you go. And what Chelsea are doing is going... So I thought, let me just see... Instead of just keep cussing them all the time, saying, you just spent 2 billion. So let's look at like what they're actually doing. And I looked and I was like, rah. So really, you just buying youngsters, spreading the payments over a lot longer time so they can amortize that, so that don't go down on the books as that, so you're compliant with PSR. Have a look at them for a couple of years at best, and then flipping loads of them for high profit. And then there's some gems in there and ones that are actually clicking. And what we're not, as a neutral, I find myself not really looking at the actual team that's doing well and getting better. Rather than it's just another one.
As long as they keep getting better, then
like I'm looking at it.
I'll be honest.
They're building a decent team, mate.
I don't like it. I think it's. Listen, you haven't broken any rules.
I'm saying it's not
and
legal.
like you said the other day, even the thing we're selling the women's team, right? There's other clubs looking at doing it as well now, so copying it now. But I don't like it. What about the players as well? You know what I mean? Like,
they're signing.
It's their choice.
It's their choice
If you're
to sign.
player,
But
you say
really,
I'm going to give you 7 years.
It's a bit like a farm, innit? It's just a farm, right?
Don't sign them.
Yeah, but
do not sign
to the players, man.
Like at this point, you know
we
what you're
just bought
signing
a player
up for.
we're selling a player to Strasbourg. Yeah, that's
Listen,
your club.
I'm not gonna lie. I felt sorry for the first batch.
Yeah.
You know when you put
they
the
got
first
done
batch
there,
in,
yeah.
and you overcook the batch, and then listen, I'm putting the second batch in now, and the third and the fourth.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
One
when
of them
you're
will
coming
work
in.
eventually.
You know what it is at this point. So if
Yeah.
you're signing, don't really.
100%.
There shouldn't be any more complaints, because now you know exactly what you're getting in for. But
And you're also getting 7 years. You're guaranteed. You say, mate, it's extra. You talk about it from a player, mate.
It could still
You're getting a
start-
guarantee of a certain amount of wages for a long time. And if Chelsea want to move you on, don't think these players ain't getting paid off.
Yeah.
When Renato Vega had to go Juve or whatever, okay, he's upset with his minutes and that. But don't think he's not financially sound because they've had
But
to end his contract
at
early.
the moment, it's working, but I still think they could be storing up problems, because look at some of those players you just mentioned there, like Felix, who they bought in last year. You've got to try and get rid of him. You've got to try and get rid of Sterling.
Yeah,
You're not going to be able to get the value
Nkunku.
for those players.
But the early doors, that's what I'm saying. The first
Nkunku,
batch, you got it
what
wrong.
they
Like,
got, yeah.
I think they're starting to. I don't know, man.
Fine-tune it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at it differently now. I'm like, right, that thing that I was cussing every week, £1 billion blue, £1 billion bottle, all of that, like Chelsea, 2 billion, man, everything. I'm looking at it now and I'm going,
They've escaped it
they're
through
actually-
loopholes, though.
100%.
So
No,
loopholes can run out after a while.
everything.
You know what I mean? Loopholes can run out.
It's a risky game,
Let's
but I'm
see.
just looking at it with more keen eyes, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I think this is kind of working, though. Like, I'm
this
gonna be
summer
honest.
feels very safe at the moment.
Yeah.
Like I feel like all the players so far that are
gonna
coming
explode soon.
the values should maintain themselves. You know, it doesn't like Pedro. We've seen him for years and years in the Prem. We kind of know what
But
we're
even
getting
that,
from
bro,
him
when
at
it don't
23.
work, you man
Delap,
still
30
find a way
mil.
to fleece whoever you need to fleece to get what you need to get. You sent back Sancho. I've never seen
it's
an
you
obligation.
two.
I've never seen it.
Listen,
Obligation. You must buy this player. I
told you, innit?
I'll give you 5 mil.
I told you.
How?
Look at you. You really
Hold
thought
that.
you did something.
Just take Garnacho.
You
Come on.
nah, brother.
Speaking of
Listen,
that,
you try to keep doing deals with me. We're not having Garnacho, and we didn't have Sancho.
you're trying to do deals.
Sell
to
your own
every
players,
week.
brother. Sell your own players. We're not giving you no money.
Fair
Ask Arsenal, bro.
enough.
Come on, man.
that's true.
It's a little something, man.
Bobby, you want Garnacho?